So one of the other commands that I like to teach is kennel. When you're putting your dog in your kennel, you actually don't want to have any sort of hands on them at all. You want them to go in and out of their kennel on their own, hands-free, and you should have a command to actually send them in there. So how you start, we're gonna got some little treats in our hand. I'm gonna get puppies interested in treats, and I'm gonna throw some in and say kennel. And they're gonna go in and find treats on their own. And you're just going to keep repeating this process, getting them in and out, in and out. And there's always food in their kennel when they go in there. So you're programming that their kennel is a good place, it's a safe place, and that there's food in there when they go in. And the point of this is to get them to go in the kennel on their own without having to grab their collar or push them in, because it's actually a contact point that a lot of dogs are reactive to, is by grabbing their collar. And if you're going to get bit by a strange dog, if you're taking care of somebody's pet, it's usually when you go to grab their collar to pull them in a kennel. So again, we're just going to grab some food and just throw some treats in there and say kennel, and let them go in on their own and sniff around in there and get treats on their own. And then you can also start practicing closing the door and then just feeding treats through the grate of the door. So you're reinforcing that being in there and being quiet is a good place. And then you can also open the door and throw in some more treats, so that when the door opens, it doesn't just mean that you burst out and you're, too excited to come out of there, that when the door opens, you can kind of come in and out freely and you're not just locked in there. It's not a place that you want to escape as soon as the door is open. And this is going to help teaching them that they're calm, they're relaxed, and it's a safe space in there. And that's exactly what you want a kennel to be. Of course, with kennels too, if you do have kids around, the kennel is off limits for kids. They don't get to play in it. Panda. They don't get to play in it. They don't get to bug the dog when they're in there. And if a dog ever goes in with the door open on their own and lays down in the kennel on their own, then that means that they're just taking their own time out, which is actually a really good trait. And I would just leave them alone. Don't bug them. If you do want them to come out, you could try coaxing them with food, but going in their kennel should just be something that they want to do on their own. Panda, kennel. Panda, panda, kennel. Go kennel. So my dogs were kennel trained at one point in time. I haven't kenneled my dogs in years, but that's one thing that I taught them, was to tell them to go in their kennel without ever having to touch them.